100%. Now, the Voice to Parliament, obviously, Linda Burney, Indigenous Affairs Minister, was up yesterday at the National Press Club. You were one of the first people in your party, the Nationals, were the first party to come out and say that you would be backing the No campaign. I reckon every time Linda Burney opens her mouth, she sets the Yes campaign back 5 steps.
Yeah, well, there's no detail. And then to try and deflect and to say that there's some sort of Trump politics being brought into this country, when not only Peter Dutton and myself asked valid questions of a government that wants to change your constitution, that she cannot provide the answers, demonstrates not only is there a lack of detail in even understanding it, but what they're trying to hide. The government owns the parliament. They can actually control the parliament and what legislation comes through. So if the government wants to build the trust of the Australian people, why would they not put the legislation, the mechanics of the voice, table that in the parliament so not just politicians can see, but so the Australian people can see? If the Prime Minister isn't prepared to bring the Australian people into his trust, why would they trust him? And then when you've got an Indigenous Affairs Minister that did not answer a question, simply deflected and simply made bold and very broad statements without getting into the detail of what the mechanics of this is, should cast very big doubt to the Australian people about gaining trust and what they're asking for. This is permanent. This is a permanent change. There is no ambitious goal. We all want to close the gap. But the Nationals got to a principled position we couldn't support this because we've had a representative body before. That representative body called ASIC failed us, and we live with those consequences. But when they're not prepared to even show the mechanics of this to the Australian people, and they're putting this to perpetuity, and then they're not even saying that we will close the gap and have an ambitious goal of saying by 2030 or 2035 or 2040 we'll close the gap, but instead putting up the white flag and effectively saying for perpetuity we have failed and they will never close the gap because we have to have this in our constitution, says that effectively this government has given up. Now, they should not conflate a voice, which is a bureaucratic body that will add another layer of bureaucracy where we need a better bureaucracy, not a bigger one, with constitutional recognition.
Yeah, they're two totally different
Anthony
things.
Albanese,
and if they split it up, you would get constitutional recognition over the line. I'm sorry we've got to go, David, but good luck on your quest up there with the flood victims. I hope we get something out of them.